Well, here I am in Norway in the beautiful town of Tønsberg. I'm out here on assignment, but today we're going to still talk about solar panels. In particular, we're going to talk about the performance of my solar panels for the months of July, August and September. And then we're also going to look at an example of solar panels in Norway, which one of my colleagues has installed this year. And we're going to give him a bit of an interview. Finally, I want to talk to you about the change in electricity tariffs, which I have now adopted with Octopus Energy. Now, if you haven't watched my previous videos, my name is Anthony and I own a 9 kilowatt solar panel array up in Aberdeenshire, Scotland. It's been in operation for the last 3 years and there are plenty of videos which describe the performance of those panels in a lot of detail. But for now, let's go to my studio where we talk about the performance in more detail.
So the third quarter of 2023 was quite pleasing in terms of generation results. On July, for example, we generated 993 kilowatt hours of electricity. It was the best performing July so far. And this is despite the fact that July was quite a wet month, quite rainy, but because the weather was coming in from the southwest, there were large sunshine gaps in between the rain showers. August was not the worst producing month of August, but again, it was not the best. 2022 was much higher. It was about 900 kilowatt hours, but some data has been truncated because of faulty issues which happened last year. September, however, was really very good indeed. 729 kilowatt hours of electricity. So looking at July in more detail, we had only one day where generation exceeded 50 kilowatt hours. And on this day, you can see generation was truncated in the early afternoon. This is because the battery was full up and export is limited to 5 kilowatt hours. Now that only cost us 1 or 2 kilowatt hours in total. The worst generating day in July was the 27th of July. That is a day where we only generated just over 10 kilowatt hours of electricity. Overall, for July, we exported just under 530 kilowatt hours of electricity, which is more than what we consumed. We consumed 475 kilowatt hours of electricity. And we imported only 10 kilowatt hours of electricity. If we go into August, again, only 10 kilowatt hours of electricity being imported. So that's about 300 watt hours per day of import. Export, again, pretty decent, 450 kilowatt hours. Much of that export happened in the second half of August, where you can see I was not actually at home. So all of the electricity was exported. And the point to make here is that it really doesn't matter whether you are at home or not if the export price you get is pretty decent. In this case, it was about 17.5 pence per kilowatt hour on the Octopus Flux tariff. The best day in August was just over 40 kilowatt hours, and there were only 2 days that exceeded 40 kilowatt hours. Overall, though, it was quite a mixed month in terms of generation. Worst day was the 17th of August, just 12 kilowatt hours of electricity generated. September is the most interesting month. We had the best ever September that we have had so far, and much of that is due to all the fine weather that we had at the beginning of the month. We had our first ever days where we generated more than 40 kilowatt hours of electricity, and this is the best day that we had, just under 43 kilowatt hours of electricity. Again, production was truncated in the afternoon as the battery output had reached 100%, but we probably only cost us about 1 kilowatt hour. The most interesting feature is the previous day. As you can see here, we generated 38 kilowatt hours of electricity, and we had almost a very similar day in terms of output, just a little bit of cloud in the early afternoon. But we had a much lower peak, just 5.7 kilowatts in the afternoon. And if we compare that to the better day, we hit nearly 6 kilowatts. And the difference between the 2 days was that the 4th of September was a much hotter day than the 5th. And hotter days do reduce your electricity output. But as you can see, not by very much. After the 11th of September, what you will see is that our output and our consumption was very well matched, with a few good days later on in September. Overall, we had a very good match between export and import. For the month as a whole, 361 kilowatt hours of electricity exported and 420 kilowatt hours of electricity consumed, but more electricity being imported. What has been going on? 3rd of September, we imported quite a lot here. You can see we took advantage of the 3 hours of charging in the night time where we had a lower price, and we were charging up in the early morning before heading off on our holidays. Again, this kind of action was necessary in order for us to get to our final destination, because in our final destination, the price of electricity was higher than the daytime prices that we were faced with at our own home.
Now, whilst I may be out here in Norway on assignment, I took the opportunity to interview one of my colleagues who has installed solar panels in Norway. And bear in mind, we're quite a bit further north here than we are in Aberdeenshire. So the question is it worth installing solar power up in Norway, at least in the southeast of Norway? So this is my colleague Harold. We are currently south of Horten and north of Tønsberg in Vestfold in Norway. And Harold here has, why don't you tell us a little bit more about the solar power panel arrays that you've got here? How big a system is it?
It's 10.4 kilowatts.
10.4 kilowatts.
Yeah, 26 panels.
26 panels, so approximately 400 watts per panel.
Yeah. And
it's all black, so it looks pretty smart. And it's part of a much wider renovation on this house that you're living in. So how old's the property?
1972, I think.
Okay,
yeah.
And you're basically just upgrading pretty much every aspect of it, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. And you got this solar panel array installed in June 2023.
Yeah.
And how much electricity have you generated so far?
I think it's 6,000 kilowatt hours. Yeah.
So 6 megawatt hours since June. So just 4 months of the sunny period.
Yeah.
So we're not even considering May, April, March time. And how much of that has been used and how much has been exported?
I have this deal with Fjordkraft.
Yes.
With a Sun Power account, like a digital account.
Okay.
So I have sold 5,000 kilowatt hours.
Okay.
And I can spend that whenever I want to pay the bills.
So, just to get it straight for my audience, you can sell electricity to the grid and then you can buy it back at the same price in the winter time.
Yeah.
And in the winter time, typically electricity is much more expensive than it is in the summertime. So in other words, the grid is a big battery for you. Do you have to pay any subscription for that facility at all, or is it?
Not more than other deals or contracts. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you've spent one winter here so far?
Yeah.
And how many megawatt hours did you consume for household loads over that winter time?
Maybe 1,000 per month, I guess.
Okay,
But we are just two people, so.
Just two people, so we're talking about 6 megawatt hours over the 6 darker months of the year.
Yeah.
So you've already got almost enough balance to cover your household needs.
Exactly.
So in other words, your running costs should be pretty much limited to your connection charges rather than your consumption charges for electricity. That's pretty impressive.
Yep.
And before the solar panels, I mean, last year it was really expensive electricity prices in Norway as well. And is it cheaper now?
Yeah, this year it's been cheaper in the summer, but it's still early in the season. So
okay,
yeah.
All right. So definitely a worthwhile investment then.
Yeah. I think so.
Okay. And how much did you spend on the solar panel project without government grants being taken into account?
Around 200,000 kroners.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for that you got the solar panels and you got the inverter. And what else?
We also rebuilt the system from one phase to three phase. Yeah.
So that's a brand new cable connected by your electricity distribution network.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty good. And there is also a government incentive as well, is there?
Yeah.
And what's the deal with that?
There's like a base amount you get for the plant, and then you get another, is it 2.5 or 3,000 per kilowatt?
Okay.
Yeah. So we ended up around 30,000 Norwegian kroners
Okay.
in support.
So it's 15% discount.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it's very interesting just to see how the numbers stack up here, and
there's also another factor that we were replacing the roof.
Yeah.
It's brand new.
so you don't have to spend so much money on roof tiles then.
Yeah, these clay tiles are quite expensive. So
Yeah. Those are what? Those are clay tiles, are they?
yeah,
Dutch tiles.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and you've got the same system that I've got. You've got the integrated roof, so it's part of the waterproof covering of the rooftop.
Yep.
Yep. Right. Well, that is very interesting, and it's interesting to see that you've got a heat pump system as well, which is pretty common in Norway. There's no gas central heating in widespread use in this country. I think oil heating is banned as well, isn't it?
It is. You can do like a biodiesel or something, but oil is banned. Yeah.
So that you actually you're actually obliged to remove the boilers under that system.
You can have them, but you cannot fill tanks.
Okay, all right. So that's the Norwegian way of doing things.
During my visit, I was also given a tour of Harold's other energy efficiency investments that he was making to his property.
Integrated into the wall and low mounted, so it's quite a low profile actually compared to what a normal radiator would be, and that is the only unit you need for the entire property, and you've got a wood burning stove as backup as well.
Blow that warm air into the rest of the house.
Yeah, so it's October, and in here it feels like it's
50 or something.
It feels like it's about 35 degrees Celsius. So your idea is to just have a fan blowing the air into here.
Yeah.
That's cool. Nice view and pretty decent clearance. I guess those trees probably get in the way at in the winter time.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
will be the first season, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
So this is the back end of the consumer unit. One of the things I noticed is that unlike in the UK, all of the cables are inside conduit. So you can just run new cables in here, replace them if you want to without having to take the walls out, which I think's nice. And insulation all the way round. And the other thing is that we have vapor barrier on the ceiling as well, which is unlike my property. So it's quite interesting to see what the guts of a Norwegian property look like on the inside. So you've got 10 centimeters of insulation. Is that fiberglass insulation?
Yeah, it used to be 10 centimeters, but now it's doubled.
So it's 20 centimeters of fiberglass.
Yeah.
So we've also got external insulation, and this is this goes into the basement as well, 2 meters, and that's 10 centimeters, you say.
Yeah.
So it's double layered, so that's 5 plus 5, and then we've got the grill there. I take it this cladding here was removed, and then you added the insulation and you put the cladding back on.
No, it's new.
It's all brand new cladding.
Yeah.
Is this plastic or is this wood?
It's wood.
It's wood. Okay. I think in the United States they go for plastic cladding now because they find wood just rots, but maybe they just don't know how to do wood. Yeah. So Mitsubishi, quite a small system, 6 kilowatts output, and that's for the whole house. And it's a fairly simple line between here and the indoor unit, just on the other side of that wall. Looks like it's double glazed windows you've got here, or is it? No, it's triple glazed, isn't it? Or is?
I don't remember. It's
Yeah.
either
Okay.
brand new, of course.
Yes. Thank you very much, Harold.
Okay.
One of the most interesting aspects of solar power in Norway is the ability to store the electricity you export and use the grid as your battery. And Norway's quite unique in that regards. Well over 95% of the electricity that is supplied in Norway comes from hydroelectric power. And hydropower is essentially a large storage scheme. In the summertime, hydroelectric reservoirs can be close to full, and in the winter times the hydroelectric reservoir levels can be quite low. So the idea of using solar power to offset your hydroelectric consumption and then reclaim that in the winter time is quite novel. That said, there are new tariffs coming along to the United Kingdom. Octopus Energy has got the Octopus Flux Intelligent tariff, which is still not available yet as of me composing this video. The idea with Octopus Flux Intelligent is that you get the same price for import and export, and you get a higher price for export in the peak evening period. In return, you hand over control of your battery in your house completely over to Octopus Energy. That's a very interesting tariff, but it's not the tariff that I'm going to be signing up to now that we're coming into the winter period. Last year I used Octopus Go. That gave you 7.5 pence per kilowatt hour over a 4-hour period. This year it's 9.5 pence over that same 4-hour nighttime period. This year I'm signing up for Octopus Go Intelligent. This gives you a 6-hour window at 7.5 pence per kilowatt hour, which is the same price that I paid last year. And in return, I pass over control of my charging for my car over to Octopus Energy. That isn't a bad deal, and the reason why it's not a bad deal is because of a recent innovation which has also come with Octopus Go Intelligent. You can now combine it with the Octopus outgoing fixed tariff of 15 pence per kilowatt hour. Now, for the astute amongst you, you can charge up at 7.5 pence per kilowatt hour and export at 15 pence per kilowatt hour during the daytime. So it is in your interest to be able to charge up your car and use all of your household loads at night time, and then export as much electricity as possible. After all, you're getting more money for it. Coming up, I'm going to be having another video, and I want to be talking about heat pumps I am now engaged in a lot of inquiries with detailed quotations to get a heat pump installed at my property. So I hope to be talking about that in the near future. But that is a subject for another video, and what I'd like to do is thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you again very soon.